I'm Marinet. This is my husband Stefan. It was my father's funeral today. It was a beautiful service. All of his friends were there. Some of them weren't, due to the fact that his name was painted black in the newspapers unfairly before the investigation was finished. And there's a few things that we'd like to clear up. When I got onto scene, she was actually laying on the left side next to him with her head facing his feet. He was on his back and as you came in by the door, he was on your right hand side next to the couch. And then there's also a bullet hole which entered through the couch like this much above the ground, and that's exactly where my dad's head was. So now there's also the question, did someone push him down to the ground and shoot him because it was through and through and the bullet went through the couch? Because I know I would commit suicide laying on my back with someone on top of me, if that makes sense. And then there's also no proof where the bullet went into the wall behind the couch. So was she maybe hiding behind the couch? She got hit while someone was struggling, or there's so many scenarios that's going through my head because I can't make sense of what they're saying, how they found them, where his injuries are, where hers is, where the weapon was found. I just can't make sense of it.
Whose weapon was it?
They're alleging it was hers, but she was on psychiatric leave for 2 months now, and she handed her service pistol in. And she was on very strong medication as well, which no one ever bothered to mention. But her sister told me in the morning when I went to identify my father, apparently it was a illegal weapon and the numbers were filed off. Now, knowing my father, he'd never get involved in anything illegal, not even hunting as a weapon, and all his weapons were accounted for as the police still opened the safe while I wasn't seen and took his weapons.
What was Tessa doing at his home at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Alright, there's a few stories that's doing the rounds. One is that she moved back because the kids were being slightly mistreated at a family's house, and my dad requested her to move back. Second one is they were going through an ugly divorce, and she couldn't pay him out the amount that was on the table. And the third one is that she actually wanted to try, which I don't think is the case. So I can't give you a correct answer. There's just a lot of stories going around why she was actually back at home. That's why I'm very adamant to get my father's phone records as well to see what was going on. But nothing really makes sense. Why was she there? Who was she speaking to? Could she have phoned someone? Could someone have been waiting for my father when he walked in? It's just all these questions. I didn't see it myself. The stories are differing as well. What we heard, one went through her mouth and she had one to the chest. Then they say she had 3 wounds, gunshot wounds. So the stories are differing. So I don't know for a fact. And then there was one that she was shot in the neck as well. So it differs.
How many shots were alleged to have been fired?
Allegedly, it was 3 shots. So it doesn't add up because they say she was shot 3 times. What about the 4th one, my father? So it doesn't add up at all.
How many bullet casings were found on the scene?
That also differs. It goes from 2 to 3. And no one can state the facts as yet. Things just aren't adding up. Then they're saying they found the weapon in his hand. Then they're saying they found it on the coffee table. The police actually stated that's where they found it. Like I said, I was on scene, it could be an hour and a half later. I also saw everything. I was there, I was sitting holding my sister. They did speak to me on scene as well. When in fact they spoke, when they did put the whole thing into the newspaper, they said that he only has 2 children, which is a blatant lie. They stated that my brother was on a neighboring farm when he wasn't. He was in fact on holiday with Tessa's brother, deceased brother. So there's a lot of facts that's totally wrong that they stated, and then they didn't state that she was on psychiatric leave for 2 months, that she was on strong antidepressants. They didn't state that. They didn't state about anything about her affair. Sorry, they were saying that he was intoxicated, that he had an alcohol problem, when in fact he would stop drinking for 4 or 5 months. Yeah, they were just bad-mouthing him, but they weren't putting it out there that he was trying and he was sober for 5 months. And then also, sorry, if my father was intoxicated, as they say, the thing is, I know for a fact that if he did have something to drink, he was never able to pull his bakkie into the garage, and I would do it for him, or he would just leave it there in front of the house. And in fact, his bakkie was parked perfectly. So
inside the garage?
Inside the garage, that's correct. That's where I saw his bakkie standing. I went and had a look at it. If I was looking for answers, if there's anything on the outside or that I could see, I couldn't see anything. But it bothers me, sorry, the fact that it was pulled in to the garage, and I know he couldn't do that. The story is very one-sided to me as well, and it's hurtful. He was a very good man. Even the situation that we're finding ourselves in now as a family, he investigated cases like this, and he brought a lot of closure to a lot of families. So the people aren't remembering the good. They're just saying that he did do it, in effect, when the matter's not handled, and finished and sealed off. And talking about him having a drinking problem when it's not true, when he's actually working on it. And no one is discussing the fact that Tessa was off for psychiatric problems that she had and the meds that she was taking. Who says she was in the right state of mind?
And the affair?
The affair as well. What if she, didn't want my father there anymore? Understand? It was still ongoing. She was still in contact. She still spoke to him at 10 o'clock that evening on the 31st. And that was hurtful to him as well. So it's two sides. What if she was thinking about not having him in the picture anymore? What if he didn't crack? What if she cracked? Why can people just blame my father straight off the bat and not wait for the facts, the cold hard facts, before they do anything?